Hey everybody, this is Ana Chaos from Another Living with a Toy Collector. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Hopefully any mothers watching, happy Mother's Day. If you're not a mother, happy Father's Day. um, so before I forget, don't forget to check out my husband's site, Raging Orgasm. As I mentioned before, I am the content manager for the webpage. This is mainly my husband's project. Living with a Toy Collector is my side project. I do this for fun because I am the wife of a toy collector who is an occasional collector but not a heavy collector. Oh, excuse me, my bad. Before I forget, let me not forget about mentioning the contest. It ends this weekend on the 19th. We are giving away a set of hand-painted Muscle Man painted by yours truly. All you gotta do is go to our Raging Orgasm page on Facebook and join the fun. We encourage people to please post and, just it's silly nerd shenanigans. So please go ahead and join us. It's lots of fun and all kinds of good stuff. Now, today I want to talk about something that I thought was very important to talk about, and that is why I think that Matty Collectors, so to you guys who do not know what Matty Collectors is specific subscription collections done by Mattel. And what I want to talk about is why I think that Matty Collector is just bad for collectors. And no offense to Mattel, but I personally think they just gone to the point right now where they know they could take advantage of collectors because they know they are the big cheese, the big poobah, and they can kind of get away with murder at this point. So the main thing that I want to talk about is the cost of being part of this collection. Now, if you're excuse me, if your collector's like anything like my husband used to be, when we first met, I had a hard time figuring out why he was so into these Matty Collector, when what I notice is he will do, and he's like, oh man, I got the figure that I wanted, but I got all these other figures that I really didn't care about. Let's see. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and OV for November. Okay. So I'm going to talk about some of the costs that come along with this, so that way you guys can figure out what I'm talking about. Now, back when we met, my husband was part of the Matty Collectors He-Man figure set. I believe he was also part of the Ghostbusters, and like I said, he would sit there and he'll come home and be so excited. This back when we're dating, he's like, "Oh man, check out what I got in the mail." Yeah, not that one, not that one, not that one, but I like this one. And I sit there and I looked at him. It's like, why are you spending so much money if all you wanted was just one figure? And it wasn't until I laid it out for him that he pretty much figured out what I was talking about. And since then, he's realized that he's been saving a lot of money because he's no longer part of the Matty Collectors. And I know I'm going to get some trolls out there. They're going to be like, Matty Collectors is the greatest thing that's ever happened. It's like, listen, I am not a collector. I am the wife of a collector, okay? So, don't get your panties up in a bunch. Okay, this is from a wife's point of view, and this is just basic math. So one of the things that was kind of pointed out to me is that as of 2012, the figures used to be, the price of figures, they used to be about $20 each. Okay, that's $20 each. Whoops. Go back to Control Home. Sorry, I was going too fast for my own good. And I did it again. Sorry guys, I am a shortcut freak. Okay, so that's $20 each. So at this point, we're adding the cost of $20 each, and then on top of that, you need to have shipping. Okay, so right there, that was, actually, it should be figures plus shipping. It would be good if I actually could spell. And I said this before, if you see that I cannot spell, just giggle about it, laugh it up. I don't care. I know I cannot spell. I said that to the day that I die. I am a art major with a business major. I am not an English major, and English is not my first language. You can go suck on a lemon. Anyway, so that is $30 a month minimum, and that's between the figure and shipping. And we're talking about I'm going to say about $340. So B2 to B13. Actually, $360. Okay. So originally, by default, you get at least one figure. Sorry, one figure every month at $30 a pop. That doesn't seem very bad, does it? However, then you also have your quarterly figures. And your quarterly figures was every 3 months you get on top of that another $20 figure plus $10 in shipping. So certain months you literally would be paying $60 for these figures. Now keep in mind, Tom and I are not very wealthy people. We're just normal average Joes. Copy the code from here. I'm going to paste it over there. So now we already have $360 plus $120, and that's just on the basics. All right. So you're trying to add this up in your head? Exactly. That is adding up to a lot of money. Not to mention they also had, and by the way, the quarterly figures were also known as the repaints and also pretty much variants of certain figures. Some of them were cool. Some of them I looked at my husband, I go, really? I mean, did they just like paint their hair different and a belt? I mean, what's the big deal? But whatever, that was his thing. That was his passion. And then you have 4 special figures. Now the special figures range in price because you will have, at least for the series of last year, you had a really huge figure. Then you have like double packs, and then you have like an exclusive type figure. So I remember the large figure was $60 plus the $10 shipping, so that was $70. And on top of that, you had the 2 variant packs that were about $40 each. Now keep in mind, guys, this is from me, memory secondhand. There might be a couple issues on the actual price because I wasn't the one in the membership. But this is me doing math in my head because I like doing my financing stuff. I used to run a business at one point, so I am all about numbers. So that's $70, 2 times around you got a double pack, and then at one point you got like a separate mega super ultra deluxe figure, and then right there on top of the 360, on top of the 120, you're also paying $180. So on the months where you're not paying only the $30 for the figure, okay, you are also paying certain months, you're paying the $30 plus the $30 for the variant, and if you're unlucky, you're also paying for that big mega figure. So right here is $130. So I don't know how many people are actually that well off that at any point they can have $120 taken out of their bank account. I know me and Tom are very fortunate. We're savers and we're very low-key people, so we can kind of get away with it. But even we're kind of looking at our bank account going, God, there goes groceries, honey. What do we got? Ramen noodles? Ooh, condiment soup. That's tasty. All right. Not to mention, you also have to pay extra for the subscription because you have to pay a mandatory $20 initial fee to make sure that you are part of this membership. So let's go ahead and add this up. So we are looking, excuse me, sum of B15 to E15. So now within 1 year, just in the Matty collection, if you're a single figure subscriber, you're looking at $680 out of your pocket. Whether you like the figure or not, you are stuck with this figure. All right, so isn't that a total armpit? I know some of you guys out there are going to be like, oh man, yeah, it's totally worth it. No, it isn't. And I'll later on explain some of the problems that I experienced and why I kind of got into Tom a little bit about, why you're throwing away all this money when you can get bigger, better stuff like Hot Toys. Hot Toys, I think they're gorgeous pieces of artwork. So yeah, so not to mention, okay, so this is $680 if you're paying with cash. Okay, $600 you're paying with cash. Now, if you have a debit card that you can afford to do this, that's not so bad. It's $680 flat. However, I know some people might have this attached to a credit card. So the average interest rate right now for your credit card is what, 18%? So on top of the 600%, you're paying close to 20% on top of that 680 just to get this figure. So you start doing the math. And 18% if you actually have a fairly good credit. And it's a fixed, not a flex rate. So that's been the best rate I've been able to find for a fixed rate. You can find flex rate for about 14% to maybe 12%. But on average for a fixed percent, you're going to find only 18% at the best. Water is good. All right, so let's go ahead And now let's take a look at this year's subscription. I'm going to temporarily copy this. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to borrow this top area. Now here's the kicker for this year. All right. Excuse me. So this year for 2013, what they've done is they have actually raised the price on these figures. I'm talking like instead of being $20, now it's $25 per figure. So now on top of it used to be $360 just for your basic. Now you're paying $35 per figure with the shipping. So let's go ahead and do the math on that. Oops. Sorry guys. And I'll go a little too fast sometimes. Alright, and let's go ahead and add that up to this point. Sum of, let me see, oops, sum of B21 to B32. Alright, so right there with the $5 increase, you have seen a significant jump from $360 to $420. So you're already spending, just in the basic subscription, you're spending an extra, what do we have here? $60. And that's just in basic subscription. Now, this time around, they decided that we're not going to do the quarterly subscription, but what they were going to do instead, they were going to do 6 figures. Right, if I'm correct, that we're going to do 6 figures. So now instead of being quarterly, it's going to be 6. All right, and by the way, those 6 figures are also at $35 each. So instead of paying $120, now you're spending $210. That's a significantly high jump. All right, I mean, I'm not sure about you. I mean, that's already $150 plus the shipping, which you're throwing so much money away in the shipping. So now instead of you dropping around $60, you're dropping around $75 a month. All right, that is some serious bull crap, but whatever. Now wait, there is still more. So remember how they had these special figures? Well, they still have those special figures. All right. All right, so pretty much what they did, and by the way, the figures here, the ones that are going to be done by Filmation, is pretty much like a Filmation subscription. So whatever, that's extra details that you can find out on your own. So let's talk about the quarterly figure. Now last time they did 70, 40, 40, 30. This time around what they're doing is they're going to be doing one for $25 plus shipping, so that's $35. Then they're going to be doing another one that is going to be $30 plus the shipping, so that's $40. Then they're going to be doing another one that's $50 plus, let's assume that it's still $10 for shipping, so that's going to be $60. And then they're going to have one more that is $75 plus the shipping, so that's $85. So let's copy, paste, and then on top of that, let's not forget about the fact that you have to pay for the extras, which is $25 now for the subscription instead of the $20 that we had before. All right, and on top of that, if I remember correctly, there was also a pre-order for Castle Grayskull, which I believe it was initial was $75, but the total was going to be $250. And yeah, it was some really crazy mess with that. So, but anyway, but that's pretty much just the basic subscription in a nutshell. So if I pretty much go ahead, and like I said, I know I'm going to get some trolls out there going, that's not right. Well, you know what? This is pretty much the basics. This is what I understood from my husband. But it's pretty much gosh darn close. Why? Because I'm the one that does the numbers. So I looked at stuff like this. All right, so B34 to D34. So this time around, instead of paying $680 for this year before you order any special features, ultra deluxe, ultraviolet, castle, whatever, you're spending an extra, close to an extra $200 for your subscription this year. Now, if you're on a debit card, I already explained the whole credit card thing, which on top of that, you're going to be spending 20%. But if you're stuck in a month or for whatever reason the figure, let's say February got held behind because the shipping didn't make it. So God forbid you get stuck in a month where they send both these figures, the special deluxe, the super deluxe. So now you're almost out $200. And I'm not sure about you, but I know our banks, a lot of the banks have changed a lot of their statements, so now you're going to be out $200 if they allow it. And on top of that, you're paying a $35 fee for the bank to make sure that the person got paid, and you look like a total bum for not having the money in your account. But I mean, that's $200. That's groceries, that's part of rent, and on top of that, that's food or gas or whatever. That's a lot of money to be gone for figures that you hardly want. Now, so here's some basic math. Again, this is just me bringing up some couple stuff. Now, a couple of the things that I did wanted to bring on top of these numbers. Again, this is just for a single subscription. This is mainly for the He-Man subscription. This is what I understand from it. Now, seeing what my husband has gotten throughout the years is that, yeah, the figures look a lot better. Here, let me see if I can find... Excuse me. Oh. Go to Raging Nerdgasm. This is the Flickr. Raging Nerdgasm. It's photo stream collections. And yeah, this is how I go through Cartoons and Network, Masters of the Universe, Matty Collectors. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. This is what I do in my off time. Okay, I'm bored. I don't want to code. I don't want to draw. So what I do pictures. I do lots of picture stuff. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these pictures. Yes, granted, the quality you're getting here. Let me go to this one instead. So this is pretty much what you're getting. You're getting the figure in the package, and this is the presentation. So it is a little nicer than your generic 1980s figures. However, here's some of the complaints that even I myself have witnessed by looking at my husband's figures from Matty Collectors. One of them is the sloppy paint job. So one of the things you gotta watch out when you get these, look at the sloppy paint job, or look for sloppy paint job. If it doesn't look good, you might want to contact them. Mismatched limbs or body parts, or put in the wrong way. When my husband did his last collection, is back when She-Ra came out and they were going to have the horse. When we got the horse, we literally had to stop and look and make sure that all the pieces on the horse were correct, because there were complaints that the horse would have the same legs on the front as they would in the back. So you got to make sure you really look at that. The other thing is, for example, forcing fans to buy into like the She-Ra figures when buying to the subscription, because they were afraid that they were gonna make the rest of the line, which I think that's total horseshit. You shouldn't have to force your fans, especially such dedicated fans, because Masters of the Universe have an incredibly dedicated fan behind them, and I think that's just completely dick out of Mattel. Sorry for my language, but it just boils my blood. And then if you try to complain, they'll say, "Oh, that's not our fault. That's our blah 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 company that handles our stuff." So that was another fun thing to deal with. Horrible customer service. If you're not a subscriber, on top of the $35 that you're paying for your figure, you still gotta pay an extra $200 for the figure. So you're better off waiting to find somebody at a convention or maybe on eBay that got the figure that they didn't want, and that way you can buy it through there and you're better off. And not to mention, you are saving, if you only wanted 2 figures, look at that. Instead of having to pay $800 for 2 figures you could get for $70, and all you got to pay is an extra $5 or $40, drop the $80 and forget about dropping $800, okay? So that to me makes a lot of sense. Let me see. What are some of the other things that I see? Yeah, but for most part, in a nutshell, that has been my my main complaint about Matty Collectors, and I really, I didn't know much about Matty Collectors when I was first introduced to them, and seeing Tom and his friends being part of it, and seeing what they've gone through and put up with from Mattel, it's just shameful. I mean, these are your customers. If you're gonna charge them $35 for a figure, give them quality. These are your fans, and now there's more and more people becoming upset with Mattel, and it shows. I know people's like, oh, you're crazy, whatever. You know what? Read the boards. I sit there with my husband. I read the boards with him because I want to learn about his passion. He's a fifth generation collector, and his mom and grandmother, great grandmother, and great grandmother, they were all doll collectors. They started about toys, and he became an action figure collector. So he could tell you both about Barbies and action figures. He is very, very knowledgeable, and it pisses me off that something that he loves so much, like Masters of the Universe, he was willing to drop so much money on it, and yet was getting such a disappointing product out of the company. So hopefully those of you guys who are out there, if you really want Mattel to push for a better product and they're willing to charge you this much, demand a better product, because I'm paying $850 for, God, what, 12, let's see, 18, 24 figures. They better look amazing, not this half the limbs are wrong and some of them are broken in the package, or the colors are sloppy. F that mess. Okay, F that mess. So $850, that's rent. All right, that's rent money. Rent. All right. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. Again, this is Ana Khayos for another Living with a Toy Collector. If you want to go to my page, there's some of my past little rants on there. Also, if you like to do some of my artwork stuff, there's some of my artists. I'm pretty much painting it. Also, check out my husband's page. It's mainly his project, Living with a Toy Collector. We were very lucky this weekend to hang out with our sponsor at Heroes Haven and got to meet Brian Posev. Really cool guy. Sorry, he was really tired by the time he got to us. But yeah, so make sure you join him. Do not forget to go to our Raging Nerdgasm page for a chance to win Muscle Man figures on their own, pretty much painted by yours truly. It's free. Just join the site and join the shenanigans. If you have something that is funny, get mildly offensive, please post it up there. We'll get a good laugh. We're nerds. If you're offended by stuff, don't join our page. Just saying, don't join our page. But anyway, thank you for your time. Peace out. I'll talk to you guys soon.